Okay, we're live now. Good evening, viewers. Good evening, everyone. Welcome, Mr. Goswald, to another edition of Diversity Show. It's Mr. Kejo Ture here, and Mr. Goswald. So we apologize for coming in a little bit late today. It's due to some technical problems and the fact that we had Maghrib just about 5 minutes ago here in London. So, Mr. Goswell, thank you very much for coming. And we apologize to our viewers that we couldn't join. We couldn't come on live last week. We had so many problems. I think Mr. Goswell had a bereavement, so our condolences to him. May the deceased soul rest in peace. So today we have so many things to bring on board today, ranging from the utterances of Mr. Sabali. As the diversity show, we are here to make sure that all our Gambian diverse people are united as one, and that we address any issue that may turn that diversity into problems. Also, we will hopefully talk about the alliance between APRC and the NPP. Some call it Barrow and Yaya Jammeh alliance. Also, if we have time, we will talk about the National Audit Office and their report, their award-winning reports, and what our National Assembly, what our police, and what our government is doing about it, and what the UDP government will do about it. In the form of talking about the policies that UDP government have. I think those are some of the issues that we will talk about. Mr. Goswell, welcome on board. I can hear you. You are on mute. Sorry. Yeah.
Thank you, Keja. Once again, it's an honor to have you on this forum. It's an opportunity for us to trash out some issues. It's almost 90 days towards the presidential election. There will be so much things to talk about. And given the fact that this is a diversity show, it's a forum for which every diverse group or entity is given the opportunity to come and discuss issues of national interest. So we are open, and because that's what UDP is all about.
Yeah.
UDP is a diverse unit. And we have decided to create this forum so that we can have an opportunity to broaden the horizon so that people will not perceive us as a party that is self-centered and a party that's narrow-minded in regards to politics, policy, and also in approach. And moreover, I will not be on this forum if there was no such thing as diversity, because I've been an advocate for diversity. I grew up in a diverse upbringing. I had a diverse upbringing, or my parents made sure I had a diverse upbringing by growing up with different people, friends from everywhere. And growing up in Carnifing South was the icing of the cake, because I came across a lot of people of diverse upbringing. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah, even Uncle Hussein, you probably saw in the meeting yesterday, he was talking about tribalism, diversity, and even he went to extra length to talk about, to talk in Wolof, which he was struggling to do, just like I do. And in the Mandinka community, so that's really a good tactic, a good approach, and we applaud him for the courage, because it takes courage to talk in a language that you don't really understand to a rally, to a people.
I beg to differ. Mr. Dabo understands Wolof.
Of course you understand Wolof. You all understand.
Hey, look, Mr. Dabo is a Nongo Banjul. You understand? It's a Nongo Banjul. He's a Nongo Abdai. If to make it even crude, yeah. He did secondary school at Abdai. You understand? He's a Nongo Abdai. Yes. Yes.
Of course.
Let's have it
Yeah,
straight
but
now.
you know,
Yeah.
I mean, but
Yeah.
talking in Wolof doesn't come natural to him as Mandinka does.
I mean, that's the problem. It's just like me trying to speak in Wolof and somebody said, hey, yo akurenga muna don, understand nga? So like all of it, they have ne akunga, understand?
Accent
Yeah.
you?
Jar na si be sona, you know?
Yeah. But that's. I mean, I think he was at pains talking about tribalism and the fact that the people who accuse UDP and other tribes of tribalism are actually the tribalists. So these shows are really important. I know some people are complaining that we should be speaking other languages, but it impedes us. We wish we have a translator who, when we are speaking, they can speak other languages. But some people have to take the high road and talk in our lingua.
Well, the problem is we speak the national language of the Gambia.
Exactly.
You understand? The official language of the Gambia.
Yeah.
So until they tell me that we've got a national language like in Kenya where you speak Swahili as national, then we can get there. But the official language in the Gambia is English.
Yeah.
So and we're not trying to be elitist. We're trying to speak a language that everybody
can understand.
Yeah,
because it's the diversity show. Yeah.
Yes, we might think of we try to neutralize it so nobody will say, oh, you speak this language. Because if you want to, we have about 7 tribes in the Gambia, 7 main tribes.
Yeah.
Many years ago, that's what I learned in history. Yeah. So if you want to have a language, if you want to speak in English and you want to interpret them, you'll have to have 7 translators.
Absolutely.
So we're speaking the main language and we take it from there. And if people want us to interpret, we will interpret. We will have a day when we'll interpret it and translate and send to people to listen.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's something you have to think about. You being the technical man.
Yeah, right. That's a good approach.
Yeah. So what we do is we just translate it and send it out. People understand what we're talking about. Yes.
Yeah, on WhatsApp. Yeah, that's a good suggestion.
That's a good idea. Yes.
Yeah. So coming to the gist of the topic today, the first one, we're talking about Momodu Sabali. A guy who was a staunch supporter of APRC and of Yaya Jammeh, who was Secretary General, eventually fall out with the dictator and even had to go on a platform to insult Mandinkas, his own tribe. And even go ahead and insulted Mandinkas and UDP in particular. So last week we saw him talk about religion, about Esafal not being a very good Muslim, and the fact that that religion is going to hinder him, and only a Muslim should be able to lead politics in the Gambia. What came to your mind? I condemn that categorically, and I came online and I saw Yunusa Hydra also had a pull and push with him. Eventually some people intervened. What do you think that we can? How do you think we can address that as a UDP party? And some people are saying it's not UDP's problem. It's his personal opinion, and it's his personal platform. What is your take on that, Mr. Goswell?
Well, I beg to differ because the statement did not tell well for the party and the party leadership.
Yeah.
The United Democratic Party that was founded and that has still been in existence is a diverse group.
Yeah.
Religion has never been an issue in the party. And religion should never be an issue. And anyone that supports the United Democratic and has a fanatic agenda, be it Christian or Muslim, you're in the wrong party.
Absolutely.
When I look at it, I look at our national anthem that says, second to last verse, and join our diverse people towards the common good.
Absolutely.
And join the diverse people to prove man's brotherhood. Those words are very strong in our anthem, which we sing every time on national events. A national anthem is a secular prayer. It hasn't got any religious boundaries. It talks about the uniqueness of our country. And when you look at it in this way, when I heard him say that, I felt really offended because here I am as a minority as a Christian, and I ask myself, if this is how you treat your own fellow Muslim colleague, how will you treat me as a Christian when we are only 5%? Now, this is not the UDP agenda. This has never been the UDP agenda, and it will never be the UDP agenda. So if you put that agenda, take it out of UDP politics. SRFAL, as I know, that I knew since childhood, is not an Ahmadiyya.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's very distorted for someone to say. And if he was, it's not our business.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Let me take it down to memory lane. I mean, when PDOI started in 1986, and they went to 1987 general election, out of desperation, the PVP militants start saying, when you elect Doi, they're going to close all the mosques, they're going to close all the churches because they're communists.
Yeah.
And that was a very unfair, very distasteful statement that was made then from a tolerant party called PVP. And we have moved over some 35 years now, and we still have these so-called talk about he's a Muslim, he's not a Muslim.
Yeah, yeah.
In Islam, Islam do not discriminate. Islam says there's no compulsion in religion. It's inherent to us. And it saddens me that somebody is going to be penalized because he's an Ahmadiyya. I mean, we leave that to the situation in Pakistan where it's become prevalent, but in the Gambia, small Gambia, where we live together happily, this is something that we should not entertain.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about this, it's just like in the Gambia here, you have so many denominations in the Christian sect, but we live together. We do not say this group, they're not true Christians. We don't say that. We don't entertain that.
Absolutely.
I mean, this country, if the draft constitution was introduced, gone through the normal process, we would have seen a better faith because it said it's going to respect diverse religions. It said a couple of religions.
Absolutely.
Every religion will be on the same footing. They have the same respect. What we have today is the unfortunately where somebody somewhere is being influenced to use religion as a battle against SFR. I think it's very unfair. It's distasteful. SFR has the right to participate in politics as the same way as Hussein Dabo has the right to participate.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And we were known for being the tolerant party, and that should continue to be part of our ethos. We are not intolerant, contrary to what people think we are.
Absolutely.
We have our events. We had our Congress the last time, and we call in the Ahmadiyya to lead us in prayer.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at it, it's unfortunate people are saying this, but I'll give you two scenarios. I live in Carnifin South, and there was a time when there was this religious group called Baptists. They came, they set up a mission next door to where I lived. They set up a recreation center, and they did not make it exclusively for Christians. And everyone were enjoying it. Everybody was going there, playing, doing all the games, indoor games, and we got all united together.
Yeah.
Now you look at Nusrat, you look at the Ahmadiyya on the other side. All of Serakunda never had a high school. Ahmadiyyas are the first to build a high school in Serakunda East.
Yeah.
They didn't stop there. They went all the way to Basse, Tahir.
Yeah.
Yes. They build schools. They've done a lot of work.
Hospitals, yeah.
And when you go to those hospitals or those schools, they don't ask you whether you're a Muslim or whether you're an Ahmadi or not. I know of a Christian. I know of a Christian that went to Nusrat High School at the time.
Yeah.
And they came up with very good results. So this business about Ahmadiyya is very unfortunate that people are using it at the time when we're into politics.
Yeah.
Some people say we shouldn't talk about it because it's a hot potato, because they've got some fanatics that are in for it. But we have to say it and address it now. Take religion out of politics and let's look at the main issues.
Absolutely.
What Yahya Jammeh did, start talking that he was going to introduced an Islamic state, and he divided the country.
Yeah.
And this is the same thing we should avoid.
Yeah.
We don't have time to talk about people's religious beliefs. We have time to talk about the person that's competent, the person that's led by a competent party, the person that has the policies for the country that's ready to save this country from Barrow's mess.
Yeah.
And that's what our primary focus should be. That's how I see it. I know people may not find my statement as favorable, but I can't hide my frustration that as a minority, I feel offended with that statement. Because if SFR cannot be president of the Gambia, can I be president of the Gambia?
Exactly. I think that's the real repercussion of what you were saying. Yeah. And that's very unfortunate, since we have Christians in our executive, Christians in our party, Christians are founding members of our party. You know, I think that was a little bit offensive that he came up with such remarks.
When you look at the UK today, when you look at the United Kingdom today, you look at the Tory party today, you look at the cabinet, who's the Chancellor of the Exchequer?
Exactly, yeah.
Who's the Minister for Health?
Yeah.
Who's the Minister for Home? Who's the Home Office Minister?
Yeah.
Home Secretary.
Yeah.
They're not white.
Absolutely. And they're not Christians.
They're not Christians.
No.
So and England is perceived as a Christian country.
Yeah.
But we have a limit. Yeah. We have a limit. There's certain things that will require Christian input. Church of England, part of the establishment. All those things that we need to talk about.
Absolutely.
So when people want to talk about trying to say this country is an Islamic country and this, we are not an Islamic country. We are a country of religions.
Yeah.
Which should be treated and given the right respect. That's all we are.
Absolutely.
And that's why when we have events in the past, before, this is something that's become, when we have national events, you have the Christian prayer and you have the Muslim prayer.
Yeah.
And it's part of showing us that we're one people. As they will say, Bena Yala Bila. They say it all the time.
Yeah.
Now, Keja, I grew up in an area where I live next to a mosque. The mosque, the next share borders with a Christian family.
Yeah.
But that Christian family will never tell you that they've ever been discriminated or been
stopped by the
No. So I mean, these are things that this is the society, this is the country we know about.
Yeah. No, in fact, if I may butt in there, my first 2 years, first year in high school, I was staying with a Christian family, as you know, Auntie Moro Gibbs, and we had with Lancaster.
Yes.
Yeah, and we had Dr. Palmer's sister. We had a mosque just next door to us on 17 Lancaster. And every time we have these adhan prayers, call to prayer by a Muslim, and tomorrow will wake me up, go to the mosque. So and she was old, but sometimes I will take her to the church, but she will never let me enter the church. So Gambia has been a diverse community, and we cherish that diversity, especially UDP. So I think that was very unfortunate, and it was right that UNOSA came out and some of us came out to say, I think you're crossing the border, you are alienating our Christians, to come to UDP. Initially,
he can't, because the problem is we have not allowed that topic to deviate us from the burning issues.
Yeah.
It wasn't a UDP policy. He was speaking.
Yes. So, but this kind of attitude is what is, because initially when UDP was formed, we saw that we had a lot of Christians coming on, but right now, my feeling is that we have a lot of them going to die.
Point of correction, I think that we have good Christians in. The problem with the Christian community is quite understandable. They wouldn't like to be seen out as I'm seen out and all that stuff. There are very few brave people that will ready to take the baton and take it on. There are so many Christians there that are supporting the party, but you have to be very careful, because the repercussions. So we've lived with the repercussions, and even now we have freedom.
Yeah.
They're still thinking about the repercussions of what happened in the past.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So that's why, but I wouldn't want to agree that we don't have Christians. We have
No, we have an ample lot. You know,
we have ample lot that were involved, ample lot that voted for UDP until they died. You
yeah,
understand?
absolutely,
They
absolutely.
wouldn't
And
vote for
last week,
anybody.
I think 2 weeks ago, we had the Christians hold a mass, prayer
Yes,
for.
and that was just the beginning of trying to demonstrate that the party is not a one-sided movement.
Yeah.
That was just a fellowship that the Christian community decided to organize in appreciation of the party's 25 years of prayers and all that stuff. And it's just the beginning of many events that we will be doing.
Yeah.
And I will support them in all angles.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's why when we have the UDP events in UK, I'm told to lead them in the prayers. I've done it twice. And whenever we have the meetings, to show how these people are so respectful. We had 2 meetings where I've gone there as an observer, just here, and they say they will not start the meeting until I give the Christian prayer.
Yeah.
And I felt that was really, really touching. I was really, very humbled to be given such opportunity.
Absolutely.
So we need to maintain this diversity, need to maintain religious tolerance that we've known for.
Absolutely.
So many of them, and when you look at it, this government cannot build schools, could not build schools. The PP government, some of these, so many of our graduates went to mission schools.
Yeah.
So many of our politicians were Christians before. I mean, you go for the PNDI, the Sadauda, the Andrew Kamaras, the Henry Michael Balde, Henry Jame, most the names Matria Balde, they were all Christians.
Yeah.
So I mean, this issue about it's a Muslim country and only a Muslim, it's unfortunate. It doesn't hold water.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think yeah, that's nice. I think we have some comments here. This is a touching topic. Esa Jaula say that we shouldn't come here and attack what's it called again? Momodu Savali because of Esa Fal. I think he's missing the point.
I think he's missing the point, and it's his opinion. Let him know that I have no qualms with Momodu Sabali. But one has to be mindful of something happening and we're not speaking the truth.
Absolutely.
I mean, we cannot call this a diversity show and we're not celebrating diversity.
Yeah.
And what we are talking about here is about the diversity of our society. And we're not here because we talk about the diversity of society.
Yeah, we're not talking about Momodu Sabali per se.
Yes.
I think for instance, if we're going to talk about him, we are going to say that he should go after the APRC, NPP,
what it meant was people like us could not defend him because we had a problem where people said to me, look what your party colleague is saying.
Yeah, and they're calling him our Baba's commando now.
Yes, and people are saying that this is a man that they look up to.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you're saying this, and if Esa Jaula feels offended, I will say to him, hang on, this is a diversity show.
Yeah.
And are we still all right to celebrate diversity? And that's what we're saying. What we're doing is there's no need talking about diversity and not celebrating it.
Yeah, and Daniel Hansen, a Christian brother, I think, is saying, Esa Jaula, my brother, I'm a UDP member like you. For me to use some words against Momodu is insulting my religion. And some other people, people like Munas Bojang are all saying that Esa is out of the way. I think it's his understanding of what we are trying to say.
But I mean, this is a very hot topic that will cause a lot of
controversy,
diverse opinion, divergent views, and all that stuff. And I respect anyone with divergent, but look at it from where we're talking about. This is a diversity show.
Absolutely.
It will be hypocrites if we don't talk about it now.
Talk about this. No, we have to. We're trying to get every Gambians to be in unity, and we're trying to get the unity of the country as forefront. So if anybody is coming and then using religion to insult another opponent of us. You know, we're not going to defend SFL or anybody, but we're defending
Well, I mean, I'll give you an example. I
Uh-huh.
mean, during the mayoral election, this guy called Lamin Jaite went on, had a WhatsApp and start using the caste system against Rohim Malik Lowe,
yeah,
saying that she's not fit to be a mayor or mayoress
absolutely.
because of her caste.
Yeah.
Yes. And what happened is, I was really impressed that the person that he was trying to support came out and denounced it.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing now. That we're
Absolutely.
denouncing anything. Esafal is a lovely guy. I know him very well. Yes, he's got his political program he's going ahead with. Good luck with that. But when it comes to his religion, that's his relationship with God.
Yeah, that's
and
his
no one
personal
else.
business.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So,
I mean,
yeah, and moreover, I grew up in the same locality, and I can vouch, even though we haven't had a lot of dealings recently, that he was brought up in a strong Muslim family.
Yeah.
So, what's this talk about him being an Ahmadiyya?
Yeah, absolutely. And some people are coming out very much today saying we are one family. If somebody does anything that we think is wrong, we have the right to come and tell him.
Yes.
You know, and that's what we're trying to do. And if he keeps doing that, I'm gonna try and get his number and call him and say, hey, you know what I mean? This is against UDP's principles. We can't accept you as a member if you continue doing this. You know, we know he's doing a good job. You know,
no, he's doing a good job. It's not about us. It's the mere fact that somebody thinks that we've been personal against him. We're not.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's not. Even if Mr. Dabo had said it, I would say, Honorable, you're wrong.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's important, especially at a time whereby we have an executive president who is trying to divide our country.
Yes.
You know, so this is really, really important time that we talk about this. And I'm glad we did.
We all saw what Fatoumata Jawara did. She went on a UDP, on an NPP platform and tried to call Usman Dabo a non-believer.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can't say that. If Mr. Dabo was, is that relevant in our politics? It's
exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
So, and we expected the NPP executive, the NPP members to come out and condemn it. So if we're not going to do that, you know, we're going to be hypocritical, and that's why I love UDP. You know, we're not hypocrites. We say as it is.
Yes.
And as a diversity issue, it's our right, it's our duty to talk about this issue. As Papa Sam is saying, let us stay away from using religion into our politics. We are a diverse party. UDP have all kinds of people. So that's really important that we talk about that. You know, and because it's trying to get some other people, and even Mamoudou Sabali might even be an Ahmadiyya, because we have so many Ahmadiyyas in Badibu. I know Badibunkas will come after me for saying this, but this is the truth. You know, we have, you know, I know Mamoudou Sabali's family, so if he wants us to talk about religion, let's talk about religion. But then, you know, some people are saying, if at all we want to talk about him, we're going to say, why don't he go after the NPP alliance? So that's our next topic: NPP APRC alliance, and the effect that it will have on the victims. We have seen the victim center come out and complain, and we have seen the UDP executive issue a press release differentiating the party of APRC and the party members. You know, because some people are saying, why is UDP accepting party APRC party members? Yet we don't want an alliance of the leadership that is been incriminated in so many issues, so many human rights violations, leadership that was a dictator, a leadership that had in fact told Paro that you are not going to get inaugurated in this country. Paro had to run away, and now he's coming out to unite with those people. We saw them yesterday in Banjul holding hands with I'll come to the PPP issue afterwards, because I don't think the leadership that we are calling PPP should be called PPP because it's a court issue, and the court has issued a statement, to a ruling that PPP the leadership is not constituted legally, and they said they have sacked Tom and Jai, and we are urging the UDP leadership to recognize Tom and Jai. But then come to the gist of the issue here. What do you think about the alliance of the unholy alliance, as we call it, between
well, there's one thing I've got to understand is that the APRC is a legitimate organization registered by law under the elections decree of 1996.
Absolutely.
Now, what I cannot stomach myself is that this is a party that up to last month was not ready to respect the democratic verdict of the Gambian people.
Absolutely.
This is a party that nearly caused mayhem in our country.
Absolutely.
By extending the term of parliament, by going for a state of emergency, leading to almost 40,000 Gambians running, seeking refuge in Senegal, giving cause for foreign forces to come over and enforce a verdict.
Yeah, and they're still there.
This is a party that hasn't got the decency to even make a public announcement and apologize for the 22 years of mayhem which Gambians went through. Now, Kejao, you may not know, it's not only for the solo sending we talk about, but we had one man called Kanji Bakanji in 2006. He was just out, like I could be out campaigning for UDP. He was arrested, detained, and his whereabouts are unknown. The people like Sajo Kunjang Sane, she was mercilessly beaten up. And subsequently died. The list is endless.
It's endless.
And APRC are not ready
to
apologize to the Gambian people. And we still say we're going to have an alliance with them. What did you sign with them? What's the memorandum of understanding? What was signed? Why can't you tell us that this was signed? Why didn't you have a formal signing ceremony to show what actually happened? Was on a Saturday, Fabakari Tombong Jata had a press release and said, I have formed an alliance with APR, with an MPP.
Press conference,
They were all. Where were MPP? MPP were nowhere to be seen.
No.
And this is all the programs that we've gone and said to the international organizations, give us funds. We want to do this as part of the transitional program. APRC are against it. They've never endorsed it. They've never supported it.
Absolutely.
Because we look at the TRRC, we look at the draft constitution, we look at the Janet Commission. They've never endorsed one of it.
Absolutely.
So now what you're trying to do, you're ready to sign an alliance with this party at the detriment of Gambian people, at the detriment of the foreign donors who gave us so much money for us to come up with these programs, just to make sure that you are re-elected. That, let me tell you, it's just like what we used to say about the Senegambia Confederation. I say Mali, when they say the Senegambia Confederation was only there to secure Sadauda, and not secure anybody. And this alliance is just there to secure Adama Barrow for another 5 years, and not to secure the Gambian people. It's Adama Barrow, and that's all. Everything Adama Barrow, to the detriment of the Gambian people. And the same thing will happen. Now, they haven't said to us what the terms are. APRC are still saying that Babil Manta should come back.
NPP is saying no.
They say Babil Manta should come back. And on what terms is he coming back?
That's not.
The problem is, he's right to come back,
Mhm.
but justice must be done.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've heard what happened. We've had all the narration in the TRRC, the Janet Commission. He has to account for that.
Yeah.
And this is where MPP are not telling us the truth.
Mhm.
The sad thing is, yesterday they had a political rally, and some started talking about national reconciliation. And some people fraudulently misguided the people and start talking about the situation in South Africa.
Mhm.
For God's sake, de Klerk was brave enough to tell Nelson Mandela we were wrong.
Mhm.
And that's why de Klerk won the respect of the international world,
Yeah,
and won the Nobel Peace Prize.
absolutely.
This APRC outfit are not ready
To accept
agree,
anything. Yeah,
accept that they did
they
this.
did wrong. Yeah. So if they come back again, they will
Yes.
do the same thing or even worse.
They're not ready to accept, they're not ready to do this. And this is what I've been saying, informant, that you need to have the political will.
Yeah.
There's no political will on them. Their witnesses are going there, which also how Yankuba Ture disrespected the TRRC. I'm coming in and start talking about an immunity that he had, and stole the whole process. And we also, when Yankuba Baji went to the Janet Commission, he wasn't ready to come in, cooperate with them.
Absolutely.
And we are having a meeting with these people. When you campaign and said you were going to do this, and let me tell you something, UDP's policy on TRRC is something that was in our manifesto since 2001. We've never abdicated from that, saying, look, so much has happened, we cannot take all of them, but let's have a TRC. And this is things that they're trying to stall.
Absolutely.
And to add insult to injury, at the time when the TRRC are trying to finish up their report, they're trying to make it so difficult, trying to distract them with such statements. And it also is disturbing that some respectable politicians, one-time associate themselves with such gimmick. It would have to be said, when you look at the life of Korosise, Solo Spending, these are young men that lost their life.
Yeah.
And people are saying, oh, let's reconcile. How can you reconcile when these people are not even ready to accept?
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, we saw what happened at the TRRC when they have this reconciliation programs. We were accepting.
Yeah.
But they don't need to accept.
Absolutely.
But Bakari has never seen a statement saying, like, we are sorry for what we did.
No, he's still defiant. Yeah.
So how can we reconcile?
Absolutely.
How can we reconcile?
Yeah, I mean, even in religion, before you can forgive someone, he has to say, I'm sorry, and I won't do it again.
And even it's not even that. Start looking at saying, look, we will help this government to look for the dead bodies of people that have been murdered, so we'll associate this government in the reconciliation process. Absolutely. That's what happened in South Africa.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Excuse me. That's not happening in Gambia.
No.
And they start saying, oh, yes, we've been persecuted. Or it's one-sided.
Absolutely.
And they come and say, oh, yes, you get involved with it. It's a national tragedy that we're trying to resolve.
Yeah, and the agreement that we saw is that they're going to let Ayajame come back as a free person, as well as allow Yankuba Ture to walk out of and he's been convicted by
well, I mean, the problem is even worse. I mean, what makes me more worried is that yesterday I had the former leader of the PPP, Omar Amadou Diallo, talking about reconciliation.
Absolutely.
This is a man that I have so much respect for.
Yeah, it's very disappointing. It's disappointing.
You can't be saying this.
Yeah. Without these people accepting their fault.
You can't be saying this because it's a mockery to the victims. Some people lost their lives. Some of their kids go to school because those who were killed were the breadwinners.
Yeah.
So
he's trying to tell those people, suck it, just like Omar Faye said to the victim, suck it up,
Brilliant. That's it. Suck it up.
You can't do anything about that.
That's what it means.
Yeah, and what they don't realize is if these victims take the government to court, they're going to win a lot of money. They're going to bankrupt the government. They don't realize that. I mean, it's not an option whereby, we are going to say the TRRC, we're going to throw the things into the dustbin. Because if they say that, some of us will going to put on, gowns and say, hey, let's try and find you money so that you can go to court and seek for compensation. And if the government is joking, we are going to joke. We're going to bankrupt this government.
I mean,
you're going to take all the money and give it to the victims. You don't realize that.
You look at the April 10 and 11.
Mm-hmm.
How many students were injured? Some are still suffering from 20
Yeah.
years now. They're still suffering.
Absolutely.
And this government has been in power for how many years? Just 5 years.
Yeah.
It's good seeing Barrow giving millions, hundreds, and all that stuff. But what about the victims?
Yeah, he's not giving them anything.
He's not giving them anything.
He doesn't care about them at all.
And people are telling me that you can trust this government with reconciliation. You can't.
No.
What they're going to give them? Some of them even could not finish their schooling. All these recommendations are there. We've had this. We've had the hearings. Some of them have. You remember Dr. Cisse, of Colony Clinic, gave an in-depth account on the state of the people who were injured, that were constantly arrested, tortured. And they couldn't go to the hospital because the doctors, they couldn't trust the doctors. They used to go to Dr. Cisse.
Yeah.
And this is the same situation that we're having. And this is what annoys me, that you call yourself a member of the struggle up to 2016. And you tend to think that all is well.
Yeah, just because
and I'm just going to, I'm going to.
OJ is a disappointment. OJ is so disappointing. All the respect I had for him is just thrown out of the window. And he didn't even have to, because he's not, I don't know, he didn't even have to. Why? Is it his hatred of UDP or what?
No, I don't understand. You see, the problem is, let's not distort history. You see, this is what I don't like. The events of 30th July is what PPP stalwarts are now using as a form of reconciliation. That's really a distortion.
Which 30th July?
When Kukoy and all that stuff, because Sadao reconciled. Sadao never reconciled with Kukoy.
No, of course no.
He never did, because he knew that the loss of lives.
No, Sadao arrested over 200 people and
well, no, I mean, for the benefit of this forum, so there were 1,084 Gambians who were arrested.
Exactly.
And the Gazette.
Yeah.
1,084. The last person that they detained was Meta Kamara.
Exactly. It was people like Uncle Hussein Dabo who stood up for these people.
No, but I'm coming. The other point is that some of them went to jail.
Exactly, yeah.
Justice did prevail.
Yeah. I mean,
Bob Chasson went to jail for almost 9 years.
Absolutely.
Yes, and so you can't tell us that these people go scot-free because what happened in 30th July. This is what Keba Jallo is saying. And I say, hang on, go and learn your history properly.
Yeah.
Some people have suffered. Yeah. And it annoys me that we still have people out there that are trying to make a mockery of what happened in the last 20 years. We are saying never again.
What has PPP got to gain from this?
I mean, the problem is it's a part of political survival. Okay. And for anybody to start trying to water down the TRRC, you're not honest.
No, and Gambians are angry about this. We've seen I know so many people who are leaving NPP because of this. So what do you think is going to happen to PPP?
I do not know. I don't talk about PPP. I talk about UDP. I just want us to win the elections. That's all I'm concerned about. Yes.
Because they are destroying PPP, and PPP is not even, they're not even the leaders of PPP.
Well, the problem is, at the moment the problem is, Kejao, I don't know what will happen in the so-called coalition. I hope it doesn't ever happen. In the event of Barrow winning, I don't know what will be PPP's position, because what happens is it's very likely that APRC will have the lion's share, because APRC will say to them, look, you could not win elections, that's why you asked us to come and join you. And secondly, your 2% or 5% parties could not even win your elections.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be by proportion as to what we are going to dictate the terms as to how much seats they're going to have or how much positions they're going to have in
some are saying even if Yahya Jammeh will come out and become the vice president.
It could be. It could be, because the problem is the constitution of the Gambia, the 1997 constitution that we're going to, hasn't been amended.
Yeah.
So it means that to the 2 terms, it's not there.
Absolutely.
So he can come back and contest again.
Again, yeah.
Yes, and contest again. And if he wins, that's it. We go back to Babili Mansa, as we saw in Congo Brazzaville, the guy that lost election and came back again and became the president of
struggle all over again. Because if Yahya Jammeh comes, I mean, it's going to be another struggle. That's why the people in the struggle are really, really angry. Everybody's angry and pissed off with this, because this is no, this is crazy.
No, it's a very funny situation as we speak, because what you fail to understand is that I feel sorry for the TRRC, because having spent almost 2 years going through all the pieces of evidence, and on the 11th hour, you are being distracted by political maneuvering.
Yeah, but do you think SFL has a hand in this? Do you think
there is nothing to blame him? I think I have nothing other than respect for SFL, and
absolutely. But some people are saying even the victim center is urging the government not to use SFL as an excuse.
Well, they shouldn't use him as an excuse, because the problem is within his right.
Yeah.
To participate in the process.
Yeah. But
the problem is it has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with SFL. It has nothing to do with SFL. If this government had its way, if this government had done the thing right, they wouldn't have been so. There wouldn't be any need to talk about SFL.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the government that should have said it's a sensitive period. We cannot sign an agreement now, because we need to wait until we see the report findings, and then we make a decision whether you're worth joining us in an alliance. You see? But it looks as if they're so desperate that they will do anything.
Absolutely.
Kenya, today, if you go and join MPP, it's going to be a public holiday, They're going to make, we got Kenya from the diversity show. It will be a big, big grand show. You see? Absolutely. Because that's how they are.
Yeah.
They have one candidate, they'll make too much noise out of it. They're desperate and they will do anything.
Absolutely. Just to make sure. Pharaoh said it. He said, if it's like life and death for him.
Well, that's an unhealthy statement to make.
Exactly.
Because if you're saying that as a leader, what do you expect your supporters to say?
Absolutely.
It's not a healthy statement to make.
No.
Because if somebody else had said that, you could say that it's been seditious.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a security problem, and now some people are saying he's bringing in I don't know how many, say 70 Senegalese troops to.
Well, so they say I had this discussion with a very good colleague of mine, and he says he tried to explain the rationale behind it, and I think the Senegal issue we need to be very cautious about, very, very, very be careful about it, because people tend to think that UDP are anti-Senegal and all that stuff. You understand? So it would be better that we do not delve too much into it, because it's a sensitive national security issue. But having said so, it is within our right to be cautious that we had a government that promised us security sector reforms, and up to 5 years we haven't seen anything tangible.
No, nothing.
To the point that we now have extra force, military force, being brought into our country.
Yeah.
So it goes to show that once again we haven't been truthful to our donors by telling them that we want security sector reforms.
Absolutely.
Because we don't know what they've done, to the point that ECOMOG cannot leave.
Yeah, exactly. They've not done anything. That's why.
Yes, that's a big worry. Yes.
It's a very unfortunate. Yeah. So I don't understand. I think it's going to and we've seen some APRC people are even angry about this coalition.
Yes, they must be angry, because what happened is it is the beginning of killing a political party.
Yeah.
I'll give you scenarios.
Yeah, you are right. You are right.
Yeah,
You are right.
this is the beginning of killing political parties.
Yeah.
I mean, when the Gambia Democratic Congress originally, which was led by Jahumpa, he formed an alliance with PPP. Eventually, he had to go publicly and said he's dissolved the party. And all, the Democratic Congress, it was the Gambia Congress Party, Democratic Party coming together. And then what happened in the end, they had to join the PPP and the party was dissolved. Now, I'll give you scenarios now. In 2001, PPP had an alliance with UDP. NCP had an alliance with APRC. And look at where they've ended. Those two main political parties are now history. Because gradually they're losing influence. From an alliance and being a second
fiddle player.
Without end up losing the political momentum.
Absolutely.
And this is what's happened, and this is why when some people within APRC saying that they don't want this alliance, they may be clever enough to say that, look, it will kill the party.
Absolutely. That's a good one.
I will follow by going through the pace. It looks as if that's where we're ending up to. Go back to South Africa, the National Party, which led by De Klerk and others, Botha and others, it was the main opposition party. Today it's a Democratic Party, Democratic Alliance. That's the main political party. You don't have a national party anymore. Because once you start from an alliance, there's a likelihood that you lose your support, you lose your base, and that's it.
So this might be a blessing in disguise for Gambia.
Well, I mean, you may say so, but you look at the party in what you call Guinea-Bissau, the African Party for Independence for Guinea and Cape Verde, which Amilcar Cabral led. That party has died out.
Absolutely.
So you got to be very careful of it. It can happen.
Absolutely. And it looks like it's going to happen, especially in Gambians, but resounding victory to UDP. So what about the coalition? People are talking about coalition against NPP, APRC coalition. Do you think UDP should even...
Well, I mean, the problem is it's a matter for the party to think about it very seriously. And in politics, I will not rule out anything when it comes to alliance.
Absolutely.
There's still a long way to go. You've got to understand that our alliance was formed in November. In November, we had Barrow as a candidate. So last 5 years around this time,
absolutely.
we were in different paths. So anything can happen.
You're right.
We must not rule it out. But the political atmosphere is wide open.
But the timetable came out, I think last week. I think it's
it came out last week, but it doesn't. What could happen is that people could go submit their nominations and have a point where they'll say, I'm withdrawing my nomination, I'm going to endorse Joe Blocks.
That's possible.
I'll give you an example. I mean,
but the last time for nomination is in October this time, not November.
No, it can't be.
It is.
Okay, I'll check it. Yes, I'll check it.
To put a candidate forward, the last time it's October.
Well, no, but the problem is you can put your candidate forward, but there's a nomination day. So the problem is the nomination day.
So nomination day is next month, I think.
Well, I think to be on the safe side, check it. It will be very unfair because you normally give them 3 weeks campaign.
And the campaign starts from October to November.
We have to check it properly and see.
Because and what about we forgot about this one. What about coach? I mean, not coach. What's his name again? Musa Jeng's remarks about UDP being an insurgents party. I mean, I think he was trying to use a big word that he doesn't understand the meaning.
Well, I will put it this way: it didn't take us long to realize who are the insurgents party, so I don't think to say anything about it Because in the
who
end,
do you think are the insurgent
no,
party?
in the end, we can no longer be called insurgents party because we're in the right side of history.
Absolutely.
You understand?
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't take long for it to backfire.
Yeah.
We see what happened. We've seen what you call APRC forming alliance with NPP.
Yeah.
I don't have to say anything else.
Yeah. No, but he's putting
I
us
think,
and NPP in the same camp.
no, you can't. You see, the
What
problem.
does he mean by insurgent party?
Well,
What's your English
I
language?
think he is the best person you can ask that question because I find it very, 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 very distasteful.
Insulting. I mean, that's why I thought he has a problem with his English. Because as a military person, if you tell me insurgent, you're talking about rebels picking up arms to fight the government.
Yes.
And the only people who are insurgents are Bankamane and the others that he was sitting in.
Well, I mean, I don't think I'll go personal on this. You see,
no,
somebody
is being realistic here.
No, but
because I am a security person and I know what I'm trying to tell you, that when you talk about insurgency, you're talking about picking up arms. And the only person who picked up arms in the Gambia are people like Bankamane, and some person sitting on in the bench with him. So if there's an insurgent, people are saying that he himself was part of those insurgents. So I mean, what was he thinking about talking about?
Well, I mean, it's one area where I think we've already won and we just move on, because the problem is we are the party of the people now, because everybody is saying that, look, we don't like UDP, but we want UDP to win.
Absolutely.
Because they've come to realize that all the mudslinging about UDP does not hold water anymore. Because we will not share a platform with a party that's not ready to accept the tyranny that occurred in the last 22 years.
Absolutely.
So I don't want to say much about it because it's a dead horse now.
Yeah.
We all saw what happened. Fatou Jaumane at one point was Barrow, rightly came out and she resigned from Barrow, and she wants to stand as an independent candidate. And I welcome the idea. That's why when she went Barrow, I decided not to even criticize her because it within her right.
Yeah.
What do you say? The guy Muji, as they say in Wolof, and in the end she left the party. Yeah. She left the party. She resigned from the job. So watch the space, Kejao.
Absolutely. Yeah, it looks like another video is going on UDP TV and media. I think we probably should end this here today.
Yeah, we end this one here today. What will happen is next week we'll continue. We only hope next week there are no new bombshells. Then we can continue with the manifesto enlightenment. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Because we have other important things to talk about.
Yes, but the problem is, even if it means that, then we'll just organize ourselves much better earlier, because we had some technical problems. But
absolutely.
Yes.
So tomorrow, next week we will come back a little bit earlier. I think I'll probably start sending the things to you at 6 so that we can have. So I think we can call it here today. We don't have time to talk about the national audit.
The national audit, we'll talk about it sometime. We'll even have a program during the week, which is not linked up with this, but you have your own. If you have time, we can talk about it and just put it on Facebook. Yeah.
Right. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. We can talk about it on Namaste TV. Anyway, okay. All right. Thanks a lot, viewers. I will let Mr. Goswell have the last word today. And we are grateful for the feedbacks that we got. It's always going to be an important show as we go near to the elections. We're going to talk about diversity in UDP. We're going to invite other people to come here and talk to us. And we thank you for your time and your patience. Thank you, guys. Go ahead, Mr. Goswell.
Okay, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be on this forum, as I keep telling you. It's something that I always look forward on Sunday after having a lovely dinner from my family. And it's a pleasure that we have people listening to what we are talking about. And we are into the election period. And I would not hate, I'm not afraid to say it. I want UDP to win decisively. And I call upon all supporters to get ready for victory. We now know that NPP is starting to have cracks within NPP. APRC are a bit lost as to where they should be. What we have is an alliance between MPP and APRC executives.
Absolutely.
APRC party.
Yeah.
So we have to stay focused, sell our agenda, convince people for them to vote for us en masse.
Absolutely.
So to all our supporters, once again, this is diversity. I wouldn't hide my frustration to say that we just have to be very tolerant and don't get involved in any insults and sell the party agenda and make sure we win the next general election. So until then.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.